What it is, YouTube? It's your boy VE to the double LE, and I'm back with another deck profile for the third time. I know y'all tired of seeing this deck, but I got some spice on the way. But I won it again with Birdie and the Beast. A different variant. Post the ban list. I feel like right after the ban list, the meta actually shifted a little bit, more towards kind of like this gotta have it format, especially with like Dragon Link or stuff like that. So I tried a different build out. There's still some changes I'm going to make to it. I'm going to talk to you guys about that as we kind of go through here, and hopefully there'll be later. I'm going to be dropping deck profiles like crazy this week. I'm going to drop my second place profile from last week, so you guys can look forward to a Goki. And then I have maybe the return of an old friend. I'm just waiting on one more card. And I can show you guys the sick combo that you can do with a blast from the past, even in this format. And it's kind of nutty that nobody actually has those combos out. But let's get to what we're talking about today. We're talking about Birdie and the Beast. I went 4-0 yesterday, playing Salad, Virtual World, Shadal, just pure Shadal, and Prank Kids in the finals again, because that deck's really weird. I don't know how it's doing so well, because my meta is like, the meta here in my locals, and both of them really are pretty much meta decks. There are a few fun decks here and there, but there's a lot of dog invoked. The bird version of this deck, where if I focus primarily on the birds, Zoo Elblick, Necro Dragoons. It's a bunch of stuff that's kind of like would make it where Prank Kids doesn't look like they would do as well, but they did. But I took all my matches and I got first place. So let's get into the profile. So first we'll start with the Tri Brigades. I went to 2 kits. I only went to 2 not because I thought you don't need more than 2. But I went to 2 because I needed to make space for some of the hot, spicy tech choices, and it was the only one I can cut down. Of course, you have 3 of the rest of the guys, so 3 Nerval, 3 Curse, which is your best extender, and then 3 guys where this deck wouldn't even be playable without. And then you have the unfair cards, because that's where all this stuff leads to. Then you have Triple Rescue Cat. I prefer triple because I'm playing 60 cards, of course. So seeing it, and I see it all the time. I have some supers on the way, but I'm going to be 1 super short, and that's going to bother me. So if you guys know anybody who has 1 super rare Rescue Cat, first, I think they're all supers are all unlimited. But yeah. Anyway, this card is broken. It forces your opponent to like waste gamma. And also, what I don't see a lot of people doing is special summoning it off the Blossom, and that's a mistake. The best card, again, that nobody's playing is Pero. So you bring out Kit, Pero, or Curious Pero, or double Pero. You set yourself up where your boards are much more responsive, and your opponent really just ignores this. Even like players who know what this card do, just kind of, they're so worried about trying to get over statue that they just run into this card. So then, of course, the return of Tengu. So guys, what I discovered is that the original printing of Tengu says win, but he was reworded in his most recent printing to say if. So now Tengu actually doesn't miss timing, which is crazy. And that puts in a lot of work because there's some 2-card combos in here. Of course, we're playing the bird package. And then there's some combos in here where you can actually search Warbler off of Omen and kind of pull your combos off later. This deck actually has more lines of play than what people know. And so if you kind of go outside of the standard play, your opponent kind of misses some of that. And So there's been times where I brought this guy out because this affects a special summon from hand, where you make Baron Blossom, and then you special summon this, and then you go into your bird stuff. Because I mean, you can't play around the Biru going that way, but if you had to do it that way, that means your hand was weird or your opponent just already used some cards to force you kind of into a corner. So there are some things you can do opening up that way. And then hand traps. So for hand traps, we went 2 Ash, 2 Crow, and then I kind of broke down and threw the Gamma package in. 2 and 1. Because my theory is, and this has just always been the way I've played Gamma, if I play 3, I have to play 2 of these, and that's an extra brick. I'd rather resolve one of these, because I don't play Omega in this build. I'd rather resolve one of these, and then I can use that for discard fodder later, rather than having to do that with 2 cards. And when you play 3 drivers, there's a lot of times where you open up like double driver, and I mean double Gamma, and it is rough. So, and then the honorary hand trap is I played 3 Alpha, the Master of Beasts. So with Dragoon decks seeing like a higher frequency, or decks that play Dragoons, and even the Buster Lock, this card is invaluable to what you can do. So you can special summon it, you can use it to force a negate depending on your hand, or you could force a negate and then special summon this, and this will get you out of the Buster Lock. It'll get you out of a few other things. Then you just re-special summon it after it's done its bouncing job. What I found is with the bird, and because like the bird engine has all low attack points, going second, you can actually like start pulling off your bird combos, and then special summon this. And instead of having that swallow, the last one, you can actually target himself, swallow, and bounce 2 cards, and then resummon them back. And then use swallow for like discard fodder for cursor. So it put in so much work. Especially in like my Shadal Dragoon matchup, it actually helped me out. Forced to negate, and then it kind of went off from there. So that's all the monsters. Let's go to the spells and traps. So first with the Tri Brigade spells, I played 3 Assault and 1 Rendezvous. I almost want to play a second Rendezvous because the card is so good. And then this plus Tengu is insane. It's basically a 2-card combo that leads you to any link 4 that you want to. You can link climb, fill up your graveyard. And there's going to be some changes I'm going to make when we talk about the extra deck, because this card is infinitely more powerful than even I realized until I kind of paid attention. So then like the consistency cards. So you want to get to Fractal or Tengu, depending on your hand. So if you open up this Tengu, it's the same thing. If you open up Assault plus this, it's Tengu plus that. So you get all of your combo pieces off. And again, that 1-card link 4 or a full combo using that. I played 3 Pot of Prosperity. I was really hard on this card on initial testing. I didn't love it. You only ever banish 3. I think I did banish 6 in a match where I needed to dig for a specific side deck card, so I went 6 cards deep. It was in the first 3 cards, but I couldn't risk it not being in the first 3 cards. And most of my extra deck options against that matchup, the Shadal matchup, were not the best. So I just kind of banished some of the fluff and found the alpha and kind of did my thing from there. Also, what seems conflicting is Desires. But Desires is actually really good. So with this deck, you have so many pieces beside, like after Wind Barrier Statue and the Apex Avian, you kind of just, everything else is like a 3 of. So banishing the 10 is fine. So opening up, you just want to open up one of these cards. Obviously Tinky, but if you open up one of these cards, either one, you're automatically like in a much better position than you were before. 3 Forbidden Drop. This card is insane. Obviously against like Dragon Link boards. And it helps you out actually, because if you open up Alpha plus Droplet, you can break the whole Dragon Link board, and get out of the Buster Lock and then combo off. So it's kind of neat. Then the power 1-ofs, Foolish, a 1-for-1. And then the spicy tech was Unicorn Beacon. So for those who don't know what Unicorn Beacon does, it's an old card because you can see what it says. It says select one of your remove from play level 5 or lower beast or wing beast, which is most of your deck. That is remove. You remove from play a card in your hand, so banish a card in your hand for summon a select monster in a attack position. So later in the game, like I said, like those dead cards, like when you get those like dead gammas or dead tinkies you don't need, you banish a card and you essentially have access to any of your banished Tri-Brigade monsters, minus like your links or like your rescue cats. So you can actually summon. This is like a Monster Reborn from Banish. If you can see, I don't play Monster Reborn because sometimes Monster Reborn is kind of cloggy. There are going to be some changes, but it's mostly in the trap lineup. So this card's actually insane. I didn't actually get a chance to resolve it, but in my testing, it's been kind of nuts. So, and then the traps, the Tri-Brigade traps. I played. Oops, that's not a Tri-Brigade trap, but we'll talk about it. I played Imperial Order because the only thing that out your board is like droplets and Dark Ruler. So if you set the Imperial, then you just kind of win. And then we get to the Tri-Brigades. So one Revolt, because it's broken, and one Oath. This came up, this Graveyard effect came up once. I didn't actually have to set it or resolve it. And this card, it's just insane for interruptions on your opponent's turn. So, even after they break, like, the Windberry statue combo, you can just summon your Omen. Or if you have Omen, you can summon a Rugal during your opponent's turn. And just kind of, or in crazy cases, you can summon Blossom while you have Omen on field. And it just gives you so much utility. Also, when your Tri-Brigades like Kit and Nerval go back to the graveyard, their effects trigger, so you get even more value off of interrupting your opponent. I thought about playing more than one. I tested out more than one. I didn't like it as much because there were some times where I was already so far ahead. And then you can side this card out if you feel like you have to use Prosperity more in your matchups. But this card is actually really clutch and really good. Now, the card I didn't like as much is Imperm. So these will probably come out just because the deck does so much. And with the addition of with cards like Warbler, with the Buster Lock being back in the format, it's not nearly as good as I thought it was. So these will probably come out, and I'll probably move Drolls or Lancius to the main, just because of the way this format is shaking out. So that's it for the main deck. We'll go to the extra deck, and then we'll talk about the side deck a little bit because it's not as important. So the things we know is that the XYZs are this. To be quite honest, a lot of times you can Prosperity these. Because the Bird engine, if you have the full engine, great. And if you feel like you're going to get in a grind game, you're going to miss these, well, you know, Prosperity is just like anything else. You got to take that chance. One Link Karibo. That's all for the Link ones. Because I was wanting to play All Mirage, but All Mirage didn't come up. I didn't actually play it. There is space, and you'll see why. But if you don't need All Mirage, you can always play the just another target for Prosperity. That's all it becomes. So then the Link 2. You have 2 Blossom, 1 Harpy Conductor. With this build, I went with 2 Ancient Warriors. So with Prosperity in the deck, again, like if you have to go 6, you don't really want to remove anything like any of the like main combos. And this actually can come up in a grind game as well, where you have the Ancient Warrior on the field. So a lot of times you can Prosperity the second one away because your game state is so solid. But and then another one was Wind Charmer. So she's just like all the rest of them, but she's for wind monsters. So I had a chance to summon her yesterday against the virtual world matchup to kind of take their what's the guy's name, Shin, the one that the Macrocosmos guy. But he had the Imperm. So I continued to play the combo through, and if it dies, doesn't matter if it dies for Shin because it doesn't have to go to the grave. It just says it has to be destroyed. And then you can search any of your birds essentially. So it lets you search any of the birds after it dies, but it doesn't let you search the fractal. So you can also search a Windberry statue, but I don't know why you would do that. But she may come out for an access code talker. Then the threes, one Arugul, one Samorg. I really want to play a second Samorg, but like I said, with the prosperity targets, there's the only flex room for me is like the win, because this comes up. Everything else you kind of have to play. And then I opted for 3 Omen. First of all, it's the best card in your deck. By far, it's the best card in your extra deck. And secondly, sometimes, again, with prosperity, you have to end up banishing one, and the other 2 just have to be, you just play 2 like normal. But there was a game yesterday against Virtual World where actually having 3 allowed me to close the game out. Because there are combos where this is used as a combo piece and you go through 2 at once. But this is the best card here. It's non-targeting removal. On top of that, when your opponent, even if they Dragoon this, you get a search. So you can actually extend through Dragoons. And that you just get rid of problems. So also, if you bring one, if you're playing against like Shadal's decks like that, you bring this out from Revolt. You can banish the window on their field. So it's really nutty. It's your one special summon, but with Revolt you can do it. Unless I'm wrong about that ruling. So I'm not 100% sure, because the way I do believe the way Revolt is worded, it's all one action, but I could be wrong. So, but if it's not 2 separate actions, then Revolt can get you out of the window, which means you have to shotgun a little earlier. But side deck, shout out to Richard as always. Harpy's Featherstorm. I tried it in the main. Did some testing. Did not like it in the main, just because in this matchup you're not guaranteed to go first all the time. And then it's an already established board. It's this week. 2 Nibiru. It only comes in for like the strong matchups. Mostly for Dragon Link and like print kids or stuff like that. The mirror definitely. But if you're playing against a good Tri-Brigade player, they're always playing around Nibiru, unless they're just being greedy. But from one fractal is enough to get you your full bird lock without having to worry about Nibiru at all. Then back row decks are still always a problem for combo decks. So Lightning Storm, Shrunade, Storm Duster. I mean, not Storm Duster, but Feather Duster. And then more stuff for the combo decks. Dark Rulers. Lancias. So you saw that there's no Drolls, but I just didn't play Droll. But Droll or Lancia will move into my main. It really just depends on the how matchups start to go. Lancia is actually a little more diverse to me, so Lancia may find its way into the main deck and Droll into the side. Dark Samorg, again, we have to respect back row decks, and this is just as good as summoning the Buster Lock. I mean the Wind Barrier statue. So you can actually get this set up, Dark Samorg set up with an Apex Avion as your follow-up play, and then there's enough darks in your extra deck and your main deck because you can actually hard summon this one like Apex that's kind of stuck in your hand. And then we played one evenly just because I needed a 15th card. So the deck was absolutely insane. There's so many things that I want to continue to try. The imperms will come out. The win may come out for an access code talker, just because Tengu plus Assault is access code talker. And then you can follow that up with a Tri-Brigade. It's access code talker plus any Tri-Brigade. Any Tri-Brigade leads you to curse into any of your extra deck cards, which will be enough to wrap the game up. And also give your access code talker, I think, 2 or 3 pops. If you play Desperate Doom Eagle, you can guarantee 3. But but definitely 2 pops is minimum. So I really enjoy this deck, and I'm going to continue to play it. I think there's still some more adjustments, like I said, that can be made. But I'm really excited for you guys to see this new content that I have coming up. Hopefully you guys are rocking with me, and I appreciate all of that. Remember, consider joining the 60 card court. That's the Discord that I created where I pop on and I do 60 card challenges. The Zodiac Monthly, I played in the Zodiac Monthly, top 32. That didn't show my deck list off of that, but I top 32 that event and lost to somebody, the guy from Brazil. I can't remember his name. He's a pretty good player though, but he took me out in game 3. But if you guys want to see that kind of content, then I'd also do 60 card deck challenges where you guys can submit your challenges to me, and I will build a 60 card deck the best I can with what I'm given. And then we can kind of talk about deck theory, and also talk about side deck choices, and why you can play optimally without playing 40. So thank you guys again for all the support. It's your boy VE to the double LE, and I'm signing out.